Okay, so in goal 7.2, we are solving by substitution. Do not get hung up on solving for y. When we did goal 7.1, you had to solve for y because we were putting something into a calculator that said y equals. When you were doing substitution, you were going to be solving only one of the equations for x or y. So it doesn't have to be y, it can be x. There's typically one variable, or at least one, that's better than the others, and we'll talk about that process of picking that in just a second. So we're going to solve one of the equations for x or y, and then we're going to take that expression and substitute it into the other equation. And then that's going to give us something we should know what to do with based on what we've been doing since September on solving, okay? So when you think of the word substitute, it's like a sporting event where someone comes out of the game and someone else goes into the game. Like you're literally going to take something out of the equation and then we're literally going to put something into the equation. So we're making that substitution. Once we make the substitution, as I said, we should get a equation that we can solve, should be able to solve, and then we're going to plug it back in to get the other value. Okay, sounds really simple. It's not quite that simple. You're going to see lots of circles and arrows on this, so that's for me to give you direction of what I'm doing, so you can see that. Like if I just sent these notes to you, you'd be like, I have no idea what's happening. So as I'm doing it, I'm going to be circling things, putting arrows on all that kind of stuff. Okay. All right. So as I said, one of the equations has to be solved for x or y. Well, that's done for us. This equation says x equals y plus 2. When you have an equal sign between two things, that means that they are the same. They may not look the same, but they're the same. Kind of like if I had 2 dimes and a nickel in this hand and a quarter in this hand, they're both 25 cents. They look different, but they're equal to each other. So this is saying that x equals y plus 2, which means they could replace each other. So you start with that equation. If x equals y plus 2, we're going to take this y plus 2, and we're going to put it into the other equation for the x.
Y plus 2 plus y equals 6.
So the x is going to come out of the equation, and the y plus 2 is going to go into the equation. So x is coming out of the game, y plus 2 is going to go in the game. I'm going to write my substitution in a different color just so you can see where I'm substituting and that the rest of the equation looks the same. So my x came out, my y plus 2 went in its place because they're equal, and I left the rest of the equation the same. So the plus y equals 6 stays the same. That's the substitution piece. Yes?
So do we have to like combine the y's?
Well, now I'm going to solve it. Yeah. So now I solve it. This is the part that we should know how to do based on what we've been doing since September, solving the equation. So I'm going to combine my y's. 1y and 1y is 2y. This is all stuff we've done already. Oops. You're trying to get y by itself, so I'm going to subtract the 2. So 2y equals 4. Oops. Divide by 2. And y equals 2.
So you're basically trying to find 6. What equals 6?
You're actually trying to find, well, to get my x, yeah.
So that's the answer?
But you're trying to find the x and the y that equals 6 and also the x that equals y plus 2. You're trying to find both. That's half my answer. Then, to get my x, the best, the fastest, the easiest place to go back to is to the substitution equation. We now know the value of y. So I plug that in. For the y, and then I solve that. 2 plus 2 is 4. And we write our answer as an ordered pair, just like we did with the graphing. So my answer is the ordered pair 4, 2. So again, we're looking for that ordered pair that works for both equations, not just for one of them, but for both of them.
To find the x, are you always gonna do it like that?
I would always go back to the substitution equation. You can go back wherever you want, but I would go back to the substitution equation.
Okay.
It's the easiest one. Because most of the time, we don't even have to write it. We can probably do it in our head. I'm gonna write it down, but we could do it in our head. Okay, next question. When I look at this, there's one variable that should hopefully pop out to you that we should solve for. Which one is it?
X.
On the top or the bottom?
Top.
Why? Why did you choose that?
It's by itself.
It's by itself. Perfect. It's the only letter, X or Y, in the whole system that doesn't have a number in front of it. This has a number, this has a number, and this has a number. So if we pick any of the other 3, we're gonna have all kinds of fractions to work with. So yes, we should pick that X. To get that X by itself, I'm going to move the 8 over, which means I need to plus 8. So X equals, and you can write this as 8 plus 2y or 2y plus 8. The order that you write it in doesn't matter. I can't actually add them and get 10 because one of them has a y and one doesn't have a y. So again, I could write it as 8 plus 2y or 2y plus 8. It is your choice. Okay? But now we're ready to make a substitution. So it's X equals. So this is going to go into the other equation for X. If it says X equals, it has to go in for X. So then I have 2, X comes out of the game, 8 plus 2y goes in the game. And all of the other pieces stay the same. So the only part that I'm substituting is that X. So that 2's still there, the X came out, the plus 3y, the equals 2, all stays the same. And then we solve. So 8 times 2, 16. 2 times 2y,
Oh, I was doing that wrong.
4y. So if we're going to solve, we have to distribute to get rid of the parentheses. Once we get rid of the parentheses, then it's like the last question we did. Combine your y's. 4 and 3 is 7. So 16 plus 7y equals 2. Move the 16. It's a positive 16, which means I'm going to minus the 16. So 7y equals negative 14. And then lastly, divide by 7. And y is negative 2. Then, to get x, sorry, yeah, to get x, I said that right. I'm going to go right back up there to my substitution equation. X equals 8 plus 2 times a negative 2.
Hold on, I'm confused in the one part where the last equation, 4, we do 4 minus 4 and then 3 minus 4, because you do it on both sides. With the 16 plus 4y plus 3y equals 2.
Okay, so,
Do you have any point to it?
anyways. So I combine these y's together. So So my 16 comes down,
Never mind. That's
and
what
4 and 3 give me 7y.
I didn't combine the y's. I forgot to throw the y's there.
Then I move the 16. So 2 minus 16, negative 14. Then divide by 7. And y is negative 2.
Makes sense.
Okay, so I go back to my substitution equation now and I plug that in. So I have 8 plus negative 4, 2 times negative 2, and that's a positive 4. My ordered pair answer 4, negative 2.
Why are we dividing or multiplying 2 by negative 2?
Because I took, my y is negative 2.
Oh, okay.
My y value is negative 2, so I go back up here, and where my y is, I put a negative 2.
Oh, okay.
And then I just calculate that. I mean, I can just punch that directly into my calculator or work it out by hand.
Makes sense. Technically, couldn't you like punch all this into your calculator? I guess.
Not any of the,
Except for that.
I mean, this is about the only thing you can punch in your calculator,
Okay.
because you have letters and the rest of it.
So like on like 7.1, we're not gonna like be graphing and stuff.
No, this is the second method.
Oh.
We're learning 3 methods of solving something.
I feel like this one's easy.
I can do the same question
No.
3 different ways. Graphing, substitution, elimination. So we're gonna learn 3 ways to do the same kind of problem. Yes.
I feel like I get this one more than the calculator one.
Graphing is easy in my opinion.
I think this is the one that people miss the most, is the substitution. Okay, which variable should I solve for? What do you think?
Why?
On the top or the bottom?
Top.
Why did you choose that?
Because it is the first number alone, and if we add it, or if we subtract it, we just get bye-bye.
How would we get y by itself there? What would we do? And you said it right first. How do you get that y by itself? This one here. How do I get that by itself?
You have to add it.
Minus
Add
X.
what?
You have that. You have to like add the y.
No, I wanna leave it there. I want that there, by itself.
We want to add the x.
You wanna add the
You gotta
x.
do.
Why?
You want the y to be there. So that cancels out, and now y is by itself. Okay, y is the best one to choose. You could also choose x there. X is not a bad choice because it's the one with, it doesn't have a coefficient either, but it's got a negative, so we don't wanna worry about that.
Where's your-
I'm good,
Can I help?
So we're gonna take that,
I'm sorry.
Sir, can I help?
I'm sorry.
and we're gonna go into the other equation for y this time.
What just happened?
Because it says y equals, it's gonna sub into the other equation for the y. So y is gonna come out, and x plus 3 is gonna go in. So our solving skills are hugely important here. So again, the y came out, the x plus 3 went in, everything else stayed exactly the same. 2x plus 3 equals negative 6. All right, so I'm going to distribute 3 times x, 3 times 3 equals negative 6. We're gonna solve, so we're gonna collect our x's. 2 plus 3 is 5. Move the 9 over, because it says positive 9, we're gonna subtract it. So 5x cancels, equals negative 15. And divide by 5. And x is negative 3. And then we go back up to our substitution equation. And we plug that in. So y is -3 plus 3. Y is 0. So my answer, the ordered pair, -3, 0. Okay, a question so far. Okay, next example. It's done already. It's ready to go. If it says y equals already, I don't have to make one of them say y or x equals. I'm ready to substitute this in. So I'm gonna have 4. Y is gonna come out. -2x plus 3 is gonna go in. Everything else is going to stay the same. And I distribute. -8x plus 12, and then bring down plus 8x equals 11.
Minus. Wait, is it minus 12? Or?
Combine your x's, and they cancel out, and I end up with 12 equals 11. Does 12 equal 11?
No.
No. So when this happens,
Hold on. Here.
all your variables cancel out, and you get a statement like this that's not true, 12 does not equal 11, then your answer is no solution. Now let's see if you can make this connection. Had I done the same question by graphing on my calculator, what would have happened?
No solution.
What would the lines have been?
Lines would have been like this, like it
What's that word?
Parallel?
Parallel. Very good. So I can do the same question. Had I done that same question like the quiz you got back today, graphing on the calculator, then I would have had parallel lines and I would have had no solution. Very good. Very good.
I can't. Computer screen got smashed. Stop one.
Okay, let's do this one, and I'm gonna let you try the last one on your own. All right, which variable should I get by itself? Always be smart about this.
X.
The x on top. So I'm gonna have to do that by adding the 2y.
Yes, I saw that.
So I'm gonna have x equals 2y plus 6, or 6 plus 2y. It doesn't matter to me which way you order that. All right, so if it says x equals, then it's gonna go into the other equation for x. So x is gonna come out of the game, 2y plus 6 is going in. So 2, x comes out, 2y plus 6 goes in. Every other part stays the same. So I distribute 4y, and I wrote x, I don't know why. 2 times 6 is 12, minus 6y equals -2. Combine your y's. 4
Wait.
minus 6
Oh.
is -2y.
Wait. Oh,
Oh,
where'd we get that?
-7.
Where'd we get the 6y from? Didn't we just find?
Oh, we just pulled it out. Just pulled it out.
Oh, I was ahead of you guys. I was actually ahead of you guys. So, wait, what happened to our 4y? Why do we have 2y now?
4
Yeah.
minus 6
Yeah.
is -2.
That's what happened to our
I'm
6.
combining the y's together.
Never mind, I forgot to put the 6 in the next equation. I just skipped it out.
Alright, so now we'll move the 12, subtract it. So negative 2y equals negative 14. Divide by negative 2, and y is positive 7. And the best, fastest, the easiest place to go back to is always the substitution equation. It's not the only place, but it's the best place. So I plug that in. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 6. 14 plus 6 is 20. Okay, some questions first.